Everyone, and welcome back to another lesson. In the last lesson, we looked at the math.fail and the math.clear method of rounding up and rounding down numbers to the nearest integer and the behavior of this method with negative numbers. So moving away from that, let's look at another two new methods that I'm going to be talking about in this lesson. The first one is the math.trunc method. So the trunc simply is a shorthand for truncate. So when you say truncate, when you hear the word truncate, it means to cut something short. So math.trunc returns the integer part of the number. So when you use the math.truncate on the number, it will return the integer part and not the decimal part. So we're also going to be talking about the math.sign method. The math.sign method returns if a number is negative, none, or positive. So the math.sign returns if x is negative, that means a number is negative, none, or positive. So let's look at how each of these methods behaves with numbers, either positive or negative, in the code editor. Okay, let's start with it. So the first one is the math.trunc. The most important number to pass through is 4.9. 4.9. So you can see that it will return the integer part of it, which means it will ignore the other part. So even if I have many something like this, it still not change the value. So if I pass in 4.7, P4, 4.4, P4, 4.2. What if I pass in negative number 4.3? Look at it. So this does not matter what you have at the back of the number, it always return the integer parts of the number. Then the next one is the math.sign method. Math.sign method returns if a number is negative, none, or positive. But before I move to math.sign, I want to quickly give an example of how this can be used in real world. So let's say you want to buy something. Let's say you want to buy a shirt, and you have money in your hand, and then you already know the price of the shirt. So you can use this method, this math.truncate method, to work with the price of that shirt. So let's take a look at an example. Let's say the money I have in my hand, I call it let my money, is $50 this way. And then the shirt price that I want to buy is $12. Now, these are just my normal variables. So I only add this value to my money variable as well as this to my shirt variable. Now, let me make another variable and call it raw amount. That is the direct amount. So if I want my raw amount, then I can divide what I have with the shirt price. And do shirt price. And now, once I do this now, I can select the total of my shirt equals to, then I can call that method math.trunc. And what will I pass in? I will just pass in the raw amount, because that raw amount will return a floating number. Yes. So you can see I've passed this in, the raw amount I've passed it in. And so I can just get it out. The usual way, document.get elements that ID around in our HTML code to paper sheet. And boom, you can see we have 4. But if I try to output raw amount, let's see what we have before it was rounded off. What is my raw amount? You can see it's 4.16667. So, but with the help of the truncate method that I have applied to the raw amount here, when I change this to total sheet, I will only see that 4 and not the other part. So this is how it works in a real life scenario. You can see how we're able to use it to calculate our share price very, very easily. So let's move on and quickly talk about the math.sign method. This will return if a number is negative, none or positive. So math.sign is the method. Then I can check this out. I don't know this again. So I need this math.sign. Can you see that this my math is always in capital? The N is always in capital letter. That's how JavaScript recognizes it. If I change it to a small letter like this can be mistakenly interpreted as a variable. So because it's a constant, so it's important to always take note of this. So if I pass in 0, what will happen? And in 0, this will return a value if f is negative, none or positive. If I pass in 7, what will happen? Oh, can you see this? When I pass in 7, it's returned 1. Now, if x is negative, none or positive, let me pass in 4. It's still 1 minus 4 minus 9. It's still 1. So do you understand what is happening now? So it only means that the math.sign method returns value it only between 0 and 1. You can see. So if I have minus 900, what do I have? It's still minus 1. What if I have 900 positive? It's positive 1. So if I have 0, 0, it's still going to be 1. So if I have 0, 0, it will cause an error. But if I have 1, 0, it will be 0. So math sign will return either a negative or positive number between 0 and 1. So that is how the math sign method works in JavaScript. Thank you, and we continue again.